My beloved brothers and sisters in truth, I want you to open your ears, not just to hear, but to discern, because the time has come for the chosen ones to rise without apology. God is refining your spirit, not your appearance. Your glow isn't makeup, it's mercy. What people see on you now isn't the result of cosmetics, clothing, or confidence born from compliments. It's the evidence of grace. It's the quiet shine that only comes after you've walked through the storm and still chose to praise. This glow wasn't bought, it was broken into you. It came through weeping nights and silent wars. You didn't earn it by trying to look good for people. You received it by surrendering everything to God. When the Lord begins to work on you, He doesn't start with your style. He starts with your soul. He's not concerned with outward validation. He's focused on inner transformation. While others chase popularity, you've been placed in isolation. And in that isolation, God has done His deepest work. He's been sanding down your pride, cutting away distractions, breaking false identities, and reconstructing you from the inside out. That's the real glow. That's what people can't put their finger on when they look at you now. They see a new strength, but they don't know the old struggle. They notice your peace, but they're unaware of the process. People will often try to define your light by worldly standards. They think it must be something you did. Maybe it's your new job, your appearance, your connections, but it's not what you did, it's what you endured. You didn't become more attractive by pleasing people. You became radiant by being purified in fire. God has refined your spirit, not for attention, but for alignment, not to impress, but to impact. And now you're walking in a quiet authority, one that doesn't shout but still silences the room. That's what mercy does. It dresses you in dignity even when the world tried to strip you of it. It gives you a posture of grace, a smile that speaks of healing, a presence that calms chaos. You're glowing because mercy chose you when others overlooked you. Mercy carried you when you were too broken to walk. Mercy healed you in places where pride could never reach. You are walking proof that God restores in layers and that inner beauty is not cosmetic. It's consecrated. The world will always be confused when someone shines without seeking the spotlight, when you radiate joy without a reason, when you have peace that doesn't match your situation. But that's the evidence of a refined spirit. God is not just adding light to your life, He's transforming your entire atmosphere. You are glowing now because God dwells in you, and His presence always brings a shine that makeup can never mimic. This glow can't be washed off at the end of the day because it's not skin. Deep, it's soul, deep, and every time someone looks at you and wonders what's different, they're witnessing the mercy of God made visible. They see the change, but not the warfare. They see your smile, but they never saw the tears that carved valleys down your face in the silence of your nights. They see your strength now, but they don't know the heaviness that once pinned you to your bed. They admire your calmness, your presence, your glow. But they have no idea that glow was forged in the fire of affliction. What they celebrate today is the result of battles you fought alone, prayers you cried out when no one was watching, and choices you made to keep going when everything inside you wanted to give up. They compliment your peace, but they never saw your panic. They didn't see you questioning God. They didn't hear the war within your thoughts, the guilt that tried to break your spirit, or the doubt that whispered that you'd never be enough. While they applauded your comeback, they were blind to the collapse that came before it. The smile they now admire came after 1,000 silent breakdowns. The grace you walk in came after God broke you down just to build you up stronger. You were not handed this glow. You were handed trials. You were handed storms, and through them all you stood, bruised but not broken, bent but not buried. You've been in the fire, and they only see the shine. They don't realize that God allowed the fire not to burn you, but to refine you. He used pain as a purifier. The fire didn't destroy you. It stripped away everything that wasn't meant to go with you into your next season. It burned off the fake friendships, the dependency on applause, the pride, the distractions, the fears. It left behind only what was real: faith, character, endurance, and an unshakable spirit. And now, what they see as beauty is actually battle scars turned into blessings. Some people think your elevation happened overnight. They don't know that while they were sleeping, you were weeping. While they were celebrating, you were surviving. They weren't there when you had to talk yourself out of quitting, when you had to forgive people who never apologized, when you had to worship with wounds still bleeding. But God saw it all. Heaven recorded every tear, every sacrifice, every quiet act of obedience. And now, as you walk with your head lifted, with a peace that surpasses understanding, the shine they see is the result of the heat you endured without turning bitter. What's attractive about you now isn't your success, it's your story. It's not the shine that draws people. It's the silent strength behind it. They don't understand what's happening because they weren't there during your preparation. They see light, but not the long nights. They see confidence, but not the crushing. They see you rising, but they never saw you on your knees. That's why they can't explain your presence. You are walking proof that when God brings you through the fire, He makes sure you don't even smell like smoke. All they see is the shine. Being chosen means being misunderstood. It means walking a path that others don't see, carrying a weight they can't feel, and answering a call they never heard. People see your life through the lens of logic, but your journey has been anything but logical. It's been spiritual, divine, and marked by moments that only make sense in the language of heaven. The world looks at you and tries to define you by what's common, by what's typical, by what fits into a neat little box. But chosen ones never fit. You were never created to blend in, and that's why you're so often set apart, overlooked, and even questioned. The very thing that makes you unique is the thing they can't comprehend. When heaven puts its hand on someone, earth tends to respond with confusion or criticism. You will be judged by people who think you're too much, too intense, too different. They don't understand your standards, your convictions, your decisions. They wonder why you're not chasing what they chase, or why you're not broken by what breaks them. What they fail to realize is that you don't answer to trends. You answer to truth. You don't follow the crowd. You follow the call, and that call often takes you through valleys others avoid and over mountains they can't even see. Chosen ones are rarely understood because their assignments are uncommon. You may feel isolated, misjudged, or even rejected, not because you're wrong, but because you're walking in something sacred. The world cannot grasp what heaven has ordained. What's divine cannot be measured by the metrics of man. So people see your decisions and question your motives. They see your silence and misread it as weakness. They see your solitude and mistake it for loneliness, but you know, deep down, that you're not alone. You're set apart. You were marked by heaven before you were even born. Your steps have been ordered in ways that sometimes don't even make sense to you. And that's part of the cost of being chosen. You're often called to move before the door appears. You're instructed to let go before something better is revealed. You're told to trust when nothing around you feels stable. And while others look at your life and see confusion, heaven sees obedience. You are not misunderstood because you're unclear. You're misunderstood because you're spiritually coded. Some will walk away from you because they can't decode the grace you carry. Some will mock what they can't measure. Others will try to box you in with their expectations, unaware that your identity is rooted in eternity, not opinion. That's the lonely path of the chosen, to be known deeply by God and misunderstood deeply by people. But even in the midst of that, you are exactly where you are meant to be. You may not be understood, but you are anointed. You may not be accepted, but you are assigned. And the beauty is, heaven doesn't need earth's validation to keep unfolding your purpose. Attractiveness is spiritual first. It is not defined by what you wear, how flawless your skin is, or how well you fit into the world's narrow standards. True attractiveness begins with what can't be seen with the eye, but can be felt in the spirit. It's your peace when chaos surrounds you. It's the calm in your voice when others are panicking. It's the unshakable faith you carry when life is falling apart. That is what draws people in, even if they can't explain it. They don't know why they feel safe around you, why they feel convicted in your presence, or why they're drawn to your silence more than to someone else's performance. What they're witnessing is a spiritual depth that can't be faked, a light that can't be dimmed, and a strength that comes from the secret place. People often try to mimic what they admire. They'll try to dress like you, talk like you, move like you, But what they can never copy is your purity. That purity was not bought, it was fought for. It was carved out through fire, through discipline, through surrender. They don't know the sacrifices you made to keep your heart clean, the times you chose silence over retaliation, or the nights you wept in prayer so your spirit wouldn't grow bitter. You didn't get here by accident. Your power came through brokenness, your peace came through trust, your purity came through pruning, and no matter how hard they try, they can't imitate what cost you everything. They see your light, but they don't know the price of the oil. They see your presence, but they don't know it's been soaked in prayer. That's why people become frustrated around you. It's not that you're loud or flashy. It's that you carry something they can't define. You carry the aroma of heaven. You walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without saying a word. You look someone in the eye and they feel conviction. You speak with gentleness, but your words carry weight. That's the mark of spiritual attractiveness. It's not about being noticed. It's about being felt. It's not about being followed. It's about being remembered because something about you touched a part of someone they didn't even know was there. The world teaches us to chase outer beauty, to dress it up, filter it, and present it for applause. But that kind of beauty fades. Spiritual attractiveness never does. It's not based on age, status, or image. It's based on character, on depth, on alignment with something greater than self. And while many may try to copy your style, they can't carry your essence, because your beauty is not from cosmetics, it's from consecration. It's not about aesthetics, it's about anointing. They can't explain why you stand out, why doors open for you, why you attract respect without demanding it. The truth is, it's not you they're drawn to, it's what you carry. And that can't be imitated. You are glowing because of grace, not popularity. It's not because you were the most talented, the most connected, or the most admired. It's because God saw fit to pour His favor on your life. That glow isn't the result of public validation. It's the quiet reward of private obedience. People assume your radiance came from applause, but what they don't see is that it came from surrender. While they were chasing attention, you were chasing alignment. While they were building platforms, you were building altars. Your glow is not a performance. It's the overflow of grace. You didn't ask for attention. You didn't beg for a spotlight. In fact, you probably tried to hide. But God's grace has a way of finding you, even in your lowest place, and placing something upon you that no man can manufacture. That's why it confuses them. They can't wrap their minds around how someone who didn't play their games or follow their rules is now walking in such peace, such power, such visibility. They don't understand how someone they counted out is now the one they can't ignore. Because grace doesn't require permission from those who once overlooked you. It doesn't ask, it appoints. It doesn't knock, it enters. What they can't explain, they try to hate. When people don't understand the source of your shine, their confusion often turns into criticism. They question your authenticity, gossip about your journey, and minimize your success, not because you've done something wrong, but because you've become evidence of something they can't control. You've become a reminder that favor isn't earned by politics or popularity, but by purity and process. And when someone is favored by God, it disrupts every system built on ego. Your presence confronts their performance. Your peace challenges their insecurity. Your rise without compromise makes their shortcuts feel exposed. They can't explain why things work for you. They don't know the tears you cried when no one was looking, the nights you wrestled with doubt, or the prayers you whispered with trembling hands. They only see the outcome, not the obedience that birthed it. And instead of seeking the same grace, they choose resentment. They'd rather hate what they don't understand than humble themselves to learn from it. But that's not your burden to carry. Your job is not to convince anyone why you're glowing. Your job is to continue walking in what God gave you. The truth is, grace makes you attractive in ways that popularity never could. It makes you unexplainably resilient, undeniably radiant, and unquestionably rooted in something greater. You don't need a crowd to shine. You don't need applause to feel valuable. Your glow was never about visibility. It was about victory, and because it wasn't given by man, it can't be taken by man. Let them wonder. Let them speculate, let them talk, because in the end, the glow will keep increasing, and the grace will keep flowing, whether they understand it or not. This season is divine preparation, not public validation. You're not being hidden to be forgotten. You're being preserved to be revealed at the right time. God is working behind the scenes, not to entertain an audience, but to equip a vessel. He is not preparing you for applause. He is preparing you for assignment. And that process often requires silence, solitude, and surrender. The world may not see what's happening in your life right now, but heaven is very aware. Just because the crowd is quiet doesn't mean God is. Just because there's no spotlight doesn't mean there's no movement. This season is sacred. It's private. It's not about impressing people. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. Sometimes you'll feel overlooked, dismissed, or even invisible, but that's because God is doing something internal before He reveals anything external. He's digging deep, uprooting old patterns, breaking off mindsets that no longer serve your purpose. He's refining your character, sharpening your discernment, strengthening your endurance. You're being stretched not to break, but to expand. The elevation you're walking into requires more capacity, more humility, more wisdom. And all of that is being developed now, away from the noise, away from the recognition, away from the expectations of others. You may feel frustrated because you're doing everything right and still not being noticed. You're growing, you're showing up, you're staying faithful, and still no one claps. That's because this isn't the season for applause. It's the season for anointing. The validation you think you need from others is a distraction from the voice of the one who already called you. You don't need confirmation from people when you've already been commissioned by God. This is not about proving yourself, it's about preparing yourself. He is building in you a foundation that won't crumble under pressure, a strength that doesn't seek attention, and a purpose that's not moved by popularity. God is elevating you, not entertaining them. He's not shaping your life into a performance for spectators. He's not adjusting your pace for applause or tailoring your testimony to please the crowd. What He's doing in your life isn't for show, it's for impact. He's raising you in private so you can carry power in public. If He exposed you too soon, you might believe the platform was yours. But He's keeping you in the shadows so that when the light hits, it's Him who gets the glory. And when that moment comes, it won't be about who clapped. It will be about who changed. This season isn't quiet because you're behind. It's quiet because heaven is at work. Don't confuse silence with stagnation. Don't misread waiting as wasting. You are in a divine cocoon, being transformed in ways the world can't see. And when God says it's time, there will be no stopping what He's already set in motion. Let others chase attention. You stay rooted in alignment, because what's coming for you is not temporary applause, but eternal assignment.